Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm playing a series of videos that we do for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I just got off of work, I wanted a snack, and I saw an opportunity to review it. Ha ha ha! Hence why we're in the back room. But anyway, we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am in my back room, as I just stated, which means I got my Peter Cannon Thunderbolt poster behind me. He's looking out for me. Peter Cannon Thunderbolt powers. Got a little mask up there. There's some general stuff just kind of around, as is the case with my back room. At some point, I fully intend to maneuver the videos out of the back room and actually into a better room in my house. But for right now, the back room still works. But what else am I doing for you folks? Well, I happen to be wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my non-point shirt. I like this shirt a lot. I love like the headphones thing. This is actually specifically, does it say? It doesn't. This is specifically from their Million Watts tour. Was fortunate enough I got to see these guys. They've been around since like the late 90s. I honestly wasn't into them kind of during their real heyday period. I didn't even know they existed in the greater aspect of things. But then just earlier this year in 2023, they were going on tour with some bands that I liked, and I decided to look into them, and it turned out I really liked their stuff. So when I finally got the opportunity to go see them in a headlining tour, I took it. I also took some videos, got some merchandise. Those videos are also on this channel, just in case you're interested. Maybe, you're like, I'm just saying. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, it's in the back room, so we're doing, boom! It is Tradition Instant Noodle Soup. Imitation chicken flavor. Vegetarian soup instantane. Ox noodles. Can we get a thing? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I gotta try to get a thing for the thing. I'm not using. Oh, wow, this is. Okay. Can we get a thing? Ha 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 ha! So, yes, I've reviewed lots of instant noodle stuff on my show, so much so that I have an entire playlist for it called Ramen Reviews. This isn't ramen, but it's essentially ramen. It's gonna end up there as well. But yeah, apparently this company, Tradition, decided to go over there and get in, and they were like, screw it, man, let's just do, chicken noodle soup, because why not? First and foremost, the noodles don't look like this. They're like much smaller pieces, and they're definitely just the ramen noodles. Other thing, these have the worst instructions I've ever seen for cooking when it comes to like an instant noodle thing, because they don't have any on the fucking thing. And I looked this thing up, down, left, and right, couldn't find it. Finally decided to Google it. And wouldn't you know, one of the first search results that came up when you type in Tradition Instant Noodles is instructions. I had to go to the fucking Amazon review page to go over there and get the instructions. It's like, pour the water to here and then don't let it boil and put it in 2 to 4 minutes. I split the difference and put it in for 3. So let's try this stuff out, see how it is. Because why not? Again, man, that's not really. I mean, look, man. I mean, I like the ramen noodle type noodles. That's fine. But if you're gonna go over there and try to do like a European style chicken noodle soup, you can't use those same noodles, man. You gotta go over there. I'm sure there's a way to do it. Seeing as how when you use like noodles, if you're not making your own, all you're doing is basically just rehydrating them and cooking them a little bit. There's no reason why you can't, at least not that I can think of, where you can't go over there and make that work in this similar capacity. But they decided not to do that. The noodles are fine, but they are basically just ramen noodles that they just broke apart so that they're much smaller. So you don't get like a noodle pull, And it's like, in terms of like texture and presentation, huge hits on that one. Like, not into that at all. And then I mean, there's like a little corn in there, but when I say a little, I mean I found one thing of corn. It tastes like corn. I mean, I'm not seeing maybe yeah, it's either yeah, one little dehydrated corn kernel. Yeah, man, okay. This is definitely some bargain basement bullshit. I think I got this from even though it's like an American style or a European style chicken noodle soup. I actually think I got this from an Indian grocery store. I want to say, but I could be wrong on that. I might have gotten it someplace else. Um, says it's a product of the USA, although it has like a whole bunch of other languages on it. So, all right. I mean, the noodles are just kind of basic bitch ramen noodles. They're fine. They do their job, but the fact that again, they broke them apart small, I guess, is like being like, oh, that way they're not ramen noodles. No, they are. The flavor itself actually isn't too bad. Now, I'm gonna try some of the broth just by itself, but the broth with the noodles actually has a decent enough flavor. Let's give it a go. Yeah, honestly, the broth isn't half bad. If they just managed to get the noodles right on this, it actually would have been pretty nice. And not too long ago, at the time I'm doing this, I reviewed another instant noodle thing that was like chicken noodle soup flavored, and it was like restaurant quality, and it wasn't. But it was actually pretty dang solid in terms of like being close to, like an actual chicken soup kind of, experience. This isn't quite as good as that, but it is way better than most like chicken flavored noodle, instant noodle things that you could get. Like there's actually a little complexity to the broth itself, and usually with these type of things, I like to throw in a little hot sauce or something, or get the spicy version just to give a little something extra. In this case, I don't feel the need to do that because the broth actually is tasty and works pretty well. And yeah, it's imitation chicken flavor, what have you. It's not going to taste like proper chicken noodle soup, but it never was. I can still kind of get behind it. Now all that said, folks, oh, I have a little hamster. How you doing, buddy? Where's my bud? 1 second, because I got a hamster and he's a friend. How you doing, buddy? Who's my bud? Who's my bud? Who's my bud? Oh, you're chubby. You're a chubby guy. What happened to your treat? Did you already get your treat? There, eat that for right now. Love you, buddy. Oh, here. Treat. Sometimes I'll go over there and do little hamster cameos and show them off, but typically, especially when they first wake up, I want to, just let them do their own thing. But he gets a little treat because he's adorable. He's my buddy Bernard. He's shown up in videos. But anyway, going back to the review. 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get these again? Would I recommend them? Kinda and kinda. The overall flavor, again, isn't bad, but this is one where the presentation really needs to change in order for me to really properly recommend it. Because, for one thing, you don't have instructions on your goddamn cups. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. Like, that should be a thing. So, like, fix that shit first and foremost. And then as far as the noodles are concerned, it's like either just use the normal ramen noodles and just leave them intact, which would be fine. Yeah, it breaks the illusion, but the illusion isn't very good. I would be fine with that instead of these broken up ones. Or, even better, go over there and actually find a way to, use that process, but with, more proper noodles for this type of soup. But, I mean, it is tasty. Like, and again, it's, if you don't want, the classic ones, the Maruchans, the top ramens, this is actually a really nice option to have. And it's a small little compact thing. It's not trying to be super filling. I always mention when it comes to these reviews for the ramen stuff, I'm kind of doing it for 2 people. One is for people like me who are just kind of lazy and don't want to cook a lot, and then The other part of it is for people who can do all that stuff, but maybe just they need a little something on lunch or something like that. For somebody like me, it would be nice to have this as an option, but again, I would need it realistically. I'd need those instructions on there, and I would need it to, to again just get the noodle consistency better because the broth is good. And if I'm recommending it to anybody else, this would be one of those things I would love to recommend to people because it's like boom, just take this thing, pop it in there, and you have some reasonable facsimile of chicken noodle soup. That should be an easy win. But again, because it doesn't have the instructions, and because again, the way they did the noodles, it's hard for me to recommend it. And especially in a world now where it's like we have like these much better ramens. This was going to work if it was a budget and if it tasted good and it was a simple thing. But the fact that I had to look up instructions, that kills it for me. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Spectacular rest of the week. Monumental rest of the month. Stupendous rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly adorable hamster-tastic rest of your life. I know you can't see the hamster, but if you look up video, just type in hamster camera or hamster cameo. It's part of my videos. They'll come up. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. As nice as it is to be hanging out with my hamsters and eating, surprisingly decent instant chicken noodle soup, and one of my other hamsters is out. So many hamsters. I love them. But where was I going with that? When I'm done with this, I got to go do chores and stuff. I got to clean up the house and everything. Ugh. But when we do run into situations in our life that are stressful, frustrating, etc., take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe you've watched my videos enough, you've seen my hamster cameos, and you're like, Brandon, hamsters are adorable. What do I need to do to go over there and get some hamsters and take care of them properly? Well, if you ever want to know that stuff, by the way, please, by all means, hit me up in the comments section. I can point you to better channels than I could go into, but I could certainly give you like some of the basic stuff that I've learned over my years working with them. Or conversely, you could just get a fish, and I wouldn't be able to tell you anything because I don't know much about fish. Or any other, I've had a dog, I have a cat, I have a hedgehog, I've had frogs, turtles, snakes. I've had a lot of stuff.